17 points in the third quarter. And the most disrespectful thing happens once again. Stephanie White sabotaging Caitlin Clark for Kelsey Mitchell. Caitlin Clark's got 17 in the third quarter. It's about a minute and a half left.
Now imagine this moment. The second Caitlin Clark heads to the bench, everything changes. That single sub is where this game stops being just another routine fever win. Here's what really went down.
First, the Dallas Wings. 20th career game with 20 plus points and 10 plus assists. No other player in WNBA history has more than 10. No other player in the history got more than 10.
Clark was on fire. She just dropped 17 points in the third quarter alone, an absolute takeover. And right when she's clearly the best player on the floor, the coach makes a call that has everyone talking.
You did talking about Kelsey Mitchell should be MVP? Your ass need to get off a podcast and learn how to go make some damn layups. Go relearn how to make layups. All of y'all, Caitlin Clark had 10 assists blown on missed layups. Kelsey Mitchell missed three layups. That would have been Caitlin Clark assists. Lexi Hall smoked one. Lexi Hall missed the layup so bad it bounced off the backboard and damn near landed at half court. Sophie Cunningham blew one. Michaela Simpson blew about 3. Aaliyah Boston misses Kelsey Mitchell for MVP. Kelsey Mitchell. Kelsey make a layup. Kelsey Mitchell missed 3 up. Layup.
With about a minute and a half left in the quarter, she's pulled out of nowhere. Now let's be clear on one thing. We're not here asking if Indiana won the game. Spoiler, they did.
Angel Reese double streak in Chicago, where we are forcing it to make sure she gets 20. Kelsey Mitchell should not have played the whole second half. She didn't have to play every minute of the second half. Why is Caitlin Clark getting subbed out when she got 17 in the quarter and she's carrying the team, but Kelsey Mitchell is staying in? Because y'all wanted her to get that damn 20 points. Let's be real here.
So here's what's got people buzzing. Why was the player controlling the entire game the one heading to the bench right at that crucial point? And I promise you,
see, the difference that you saw tonight, even with Paige Beckers go and get you 6 rebounds, 5 assists, do this, do. Everybody else that's in the MVP has to do some of everything. Kelsey Mitchell is the only person that gets away with just doing one thing, and that's it. Caitlin Clark, 29 points, 10 assists. All the other MVP candidates, Asia Wilson getting 20-some points, 12 rebounds. Everybody else is doing other stuff. She the only one required just to keep jacking up.
Something strange happened in the middle of a game that should have been a routine win. Caitlin Clark, the hottest player on the floor, got pulled to the bench. And once you see the numbers behind that decision, you won't be able to stop thinking about it either. Let's set the scene properly. Clark had just torched the defense for 17 points in the third quarter alone. She was unstoppable, completely in control of the game's rhythm. And right in the middle of that heater, with about a minute and a half still left on the clock, she came out. Indiana went on to win, so that's not the mystery here. The real mystery is why the player driving the entire offense was the one sitting down at the exact moment she couldn't be stopped. Now here's where the numbers make this even more fascinating. Clark finished the night with 29 points and 10 assists, shooting an efficient 11 for 18 from the field, 2 for 8 from 3. And get this, just 1 turnover the entire game. 1. For a player who gets criticized constantly about ball security, that's not a small detail, that's a statement. But even that stat line undersells what actually happened out there. Watch the tape closely and you'll notice something the box score can't capture. Clark set up teammate after teammate with wide-open layups that simply didn't go in. Kelsey Mitchell, Lexi Hull, Sophie Cunningham, Aaliyah Boston, all of them had prime looks that Clark created, and several just didn't fall. Officially, those don't count as assists. A missed shot is a missed shot. But the underlying truth is obvious to anyone watching. Her actual playmaking workload was far heavier than the stat sheet shows. That's the trap with assists. They only get recorded when the ball goes through the net. They say nothing about the quality of the chance that was created. So when Clark walks away with 10 official assists, that number is already strong. But the film says her real burden was even bigger. And that brings us to the storyline that was quietly building the entire game. Kelsey Mitchell and her scoring streak. To be clear up front, nobody is saying Mitchell is the MVP of this team. But there's a growing feeling among fans watching this rotation that the coaching staff might have been protecting Mitchell's active streak of 20-point games. Now, that's an interpretation, not a confirmed fact. We can't read minds from a highlight clip. But the pattern is absolutely fair to question. Clark had just dropped 17 points in a blistering third quarter. Then she's the one who sits. Mitchell stays in. And Mitchell just so happened to need only a few more points to hit that 20-point milestone again. Put those pieces next to each other, and it's no wonder people started asking questions. To be fair, wanting a hard-working veteran to reach a nice personal milestone isn't some evil thing. Coaches juggle minutes, egos, and matchups for 100 reasons we don't see from the outside. But when the player who's completely taking over the game gets pulled while another scorer keeps hunting shots, fans are going to notice. Especially when the game is still very much being decided in real time. Which leads us straight into the real argument here, the MVP conversation. The strongest case against Mitchell isn't that she can't score. She clearly can. The real question is what she brings to the table when the shots aren't falling the way they did against Dallas. Because look closer at that 23-point night. It took her 21 shot attempts to get there, and she made just 1 of 7 from three-point range. That's a lot of volume for that level of output. Meanwhile, on the other end of the equation, Clark wasn't just scoring. She was passing at an elite level, cleaning up boards, staying active defensively, and creating advantages simply by putting the ball on the floor. That gap in overall impact is exactly what this game puts under a microscope. It shows that a pure scorer absolutely has value on a roster, but that doesn't automatically make her the most complete or most valuable piece. And if you want another comparison point, look at what Paige Bueckers did on the other side of the court. She finished with 29 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists, a genuinely complete stat line. Whatever your opinion on Bueckers in the bigger picture, that kind of all-around production is exactly what's expected from a modern point guard running a team. And that's precisely the mold Clark fit into against Dallas. Dominant, but never selfish about it. Here's a layer of this game that almost nobody talks about when they just glance at the scoring column. Clark had multiple chances to chase 30 points, maybe more. Instead, she kept setting up her teammates. Now, we can't prove with total certainty that she consciously sacrificed a personal milestone. But what the film does show, undeniably, is a player who kept feeding open teammates in prime scoring spots while staying incredibly efficient herself. That's exactly why the assist number matters so much here. Clark didn't need to dominate the ball on every single trip down the floor to dominate the entire game. She had this ability to attack downhill, force the defense into a panic, and then turn that panic into a perfectly timed pass. The final result was a performance where her individual scoring was already spectacular, and her overall influence on the game was somehow even bigger than that. Look at the efficiency again, because it's genuinely staggering. 11 for 18 from the field, 2 of 8 from deep, 29 points, and just 1 turnover. If you follow this league at all, you know turnovers have been the go-to criticism thrown at Clark. So delivering a near-flawless performance on ball security while also running the entire offense as the primary creator. That's not a small counterpoint, that's a loud one. Now compare that to Mitchell's night. 23 points on 9 for 21 shooting, with a rough 1 for 7 stretch from beyond the arc. The gap between these two players isn't just about total points scored. Clark scored more efficiently while also generating 10 assists for her teammates. That's exactly why judging a game purely off the final box score can be so misleading. If you only look at the raw point totals, the difference looks small. Add in the efficiency, the playmaking, and the turnover numbers, and the picture becomes a lot clearer. But let's be completely fair here. Indiana didn't win this game because of Clark acting alone. Someone else quietly flipped the entire tone of the night. Tyra Harris came off the bench and went a perfect 5 for 5 from three-point range, racking up 15 points. That's exactly the kind of unexpected explosion that changes the entire spacing of a basketball game. Because Dallas simply cannot load up every defender on Clark when another player is knocking down absolutely everything she touches. Aaliyah Boston chipped in a strong 16 points and 10 rebounds. Though her finishing around the rim wasn't always clean, and honestly, that detail matters too, because it's another reason Clark's assist total could have been even higher with better finishing from her teammates. On the Dallas side, Bueckers was brilliant with her 29 points, 6 boards, and 6 assists, while Eric Ogunbowale reached the 20-point mark but didn't have her most efficient shooting night. So make no mistake, this wasn't some easy night with zero resistance. Indiana had to fight through a genuinely dangerous Dallas roster full of legitimate scoring threats. The Fever pulled it off, winning 98-87, and the separation really came down to what happened right after halftime. That third-quarter surge is where this game turned into a real statement. Watch the variety in how Clark scores, and you'll understand why she's such a nightmare to defend. She's not just standing behind the arc waiting for a catch-and-shoot look. She's coming off screens, driving hard to the basket, pulling up off the dribble, threading passes through tight windows, and even jumping passing lanes on defense to force turnovers. Think about it from a defender's point of view. Take away the three, she attacks the paint. Step up to stop her drive. A passing lane opens for a teammate. Chase her over a screen. That pull-up jumper is right there waiting. The defense is constantly being asked to solve a problem that has no clean answer. That's why the third-quarter explosion mattered so much. She wasn't racking up empty points in garbage time. She took over the game while her direct counterpart was putting up big numbers on the other end. It turned this matchup into a genuine heavyweight exchange between two of the league's most talented young guards. That kind of takeover ability is exactly what Indiana needed from its star. Not just numbers, but real control over the pace and flow of the entire game. She was reading the floor and making decisions faster than Dallas could recover from. Sure, the flashy step-back three gets all the attention. Everyone in the building sees that one go in. But the smaller possessions surrounding that moment matter just as much. She was changing speeds, attacking mismatches, and forcing the entire Dallas defense to guard multiple levels of the floor at once. That's the difference between a hot shooting night and a true superstar takeover. Plenty of players can hit a few threes and then disappear once the shots stop falling. Clark's production never depended on just one weapon, and going head-to-head with Buchers made this even more compelling. Buchers was out there putting up her own excellent 29-point game, but Clark carried the extra weight of running Indiana's entire offensive system while doing it. She wasn't trying to win some personal scoring duel. She was trying to make the whole offense function at its highest level. That difference in responsibility is exactly what sits at the center of this MVP conversation. It's not just about who scores the most on a given night. It's about who impacts the most things that actually decide the outcome of the game. And then, almost like the perfect final piece of evidence, the tape shows Clark actively helping Mitchell reach that 20-point mark. That single detail matters a lot, because it completely undercuts the lazy argument that this was some selfish, stat-chasing rookie performance. The film clearly shows Clark setting up backdoor cuts specifically for Mitchell and continuing to look for her teammates well after she'd already taken over the game. So we come back to the question that started all of this. Was Clark really pulled purely to manage her minutes? Was it just a normal rotation that happened to look strange from the outside? Or was there some other explanation that had nothing to do with Mitchell's streak? Honestly, there isn't enough hard evidence to give you a definitive answer. But there's more than enough to justify asking the question loudly, especially when it happened during the most dominant stretch of her entire season. There's a real difference between fair criticism of a coaching decision and turning a personal theory into a declared fact, and that line matters. Which brings us to the bigger picture here. Yes, Indiana beat Dallas 98-87. But honestly, the final score is almost secondary to what this game reveals about the ceiling of this roster. Clark closed with 29 points and 10 assists on efficient shooting. Mitchell added 23. Boston posted a 16 and 10 double-double. Harris dropped 15 points on a perfect night from 3. Indiana got real contributions from all over the floor, and that's exactly what a dangerous, playoff-caliber team needs. But make no mistake, Clark is still the engine connecting every single piece of it. When she attacks, the defense collapses. When the defense collapses, passing lanes open. When teammates convert, her assist numbers climb. And when defenders stay glued to shooters, she gets the room to attack the rim herself. That's a problem opponents can't fix just by assigning one defender to chase her around. The real test now is whether Indiana can repeat this balance night after night, and the next matchup becomes the perfect measuring stick. One big performance doesn't settle an entire MVP race or prove a championship-level ceiling, but it absolutely raises the bar. If Clark keeps stacking efficient scoring with elite playmaking and low turnovers, it gets harder and harder to argue against her based on reputation alone. And if Indiana keeps getting these kinds of efficient performances around her, This team stops looking like one that's just leaning on a single star to save them every night. So here's the question for you. After everything you just watched, is Clark clearly the MVP of this team right now? Or does Mitchell's scoring streak still give her a real case? Drop your take in the comments, and let's argue it out. And if you want more breakdowns like this one, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next one.